I'm excited to introduce you to profiles on the Meticulous and just how powerful it is to play around with. So I'm going to go ahead in the app and create a new profile. I'm going to select a blank profile. And first thing I'm going to do is just delete this pressure variable that we don't need. And we're going to scroll down here and set the brew temperature that we want, as well as the target weight of the beverage. And this final weight is a global variable, which means we will stop at 45 grams regardless of any other conditions that we put in various stages. So we'll go down here and click on the plus to add a stage, and we'll start with a pressure stage. I'm going to select a standard profile where I'm going to take this pressure curve, bring it up to 9 bars approximately, and let's just say very quickly build up to 9 bars, and we're going to hold that for 25 seconds. And this would be a very typical profile for an espresso machine, a traditional espresso machine. If you were to try this on the Meticulous, you would notice that it would not build pressure very quickly. And the reason for that is because we have this second limiting condition, which is the flow condition, that's limited to 3 mils per second. And so this is limiting the plunger from introducing water into the puck, and it will not go above 3 mils per second. That is not going to be fast enough to build pressure. So we can go ahead and just max it out, or we could say, for example, hey, add water at a maximum of 12 mils per second until you followed this pressure curve and hit 9 bars. We can take it one step further. If we said, hey, I'd like to actually build up to these 9 bars of pressure over 10 seconds, I can drag this point, and now we are building up over 10 seconds. I can also go ahead and change the curve and have it be a pressure curve that's a little bit more dynamic, looks a little bit more like a spring lever machine. And here we go. So this is the standard. What we've learned over the last few years with machines like the Decent that really helped pioneer pressure profiling and flow profiling and all the rest of it is that we can break up these profiles into various stages. And so I'm going to go ahead and change this from a pressure stage to a flow stage and start with a very fast flow to saturate the puck. And I'll say, don't go above, let's just say, 9 bar. And I need to, this is very important, I do need to set the time to be more than 0 seconds, because otherwise it'll just enter this stage and immediately exit it after 0 seconds. So I'm going to say add 12 mils per second into the puck, don't go above 9 bars of pressure, and move on after 6 seconds. But we could be even smarter than that. We could say, what if I accidentally grind too coarse and the puck is fully saturated after less than 6 seconds? Well, I can add another exit trigger, and in this case, I could add a wait trigger and tell Meticulous, if 4 grams is in the cup, I want you to move on from this pre-infusion because I know that the puck is saturated enough. And I might want to also trigger the other condition, which is what if I happen to be grinding too fine and I'm building pressure very quickly? Well, I might want to say, you know what, when pressure hits 2 bars, I want you to move on. And so now I have these 3 conditions for my pre-infusion. And so I'll go ahead and just rename this stage Dynamic Pre-Infusion. And now I can go on to a second stage. And here I might say that I want a constant flow. So I'm choosing a flow stage. I'm going to say, why don't you just stay constant at 1.8 mils per second. Don't go above 6 bars. And again, very important, make sure that we max out the time in the stage at 30 seconds. And so in this case, does this mean that we're going to hit, 6 bars or 2 mils per second? And the question is, it depends. It depends on the coffee, it depends on the grind. But let's say that I'm grinding very fine. And so I hit I hit 6 bars of pressure at only 1.3 mils per second. Well, in that case, as I'm brewing my coffee, I'll see the pressure number go up to 6 bars, and then that is going to limit the flow rate. And so the flow rate might not reach 2 mils per second or 1.8 mils per second, whatever I set it at. It might only reach 1.5 mils per second. If, on the other hand, I'm grinding a little bit coarser and I very quickly and easily hit that 1.8 or 2 mil per second maximum flow rate target, I may only reach 4 bars of pressure. And so that's the way that that works out. And this is fantastic because what it means is that we're really setting the contact time based on this flow rate without having to adjust the grind size, without having to adjust grind as our coffee degasses. If this shot takes me 25 seconds, it is going to take me 25 seconds almost regardless of how coarse or how fine I grind. If I take this second data point, I can change it. So I can have a profile that starts, let's say, even lower, starts at 1 mil per second and then builds up over 20 seconds to 4 mils per second. And the other thing that I really love to do is, you'll find that there may be 1 or 2 variables that you use to dial in various coffees once you find a profile that you love and that works well with your grinder. And so in this case, it might be my flow rate. And so what I could do is I could take this, let's just say I set it at 2.5 mils per second. I don't want to open the app every time I want to adjust this. So I can tap on this circle so it turns white, hit the gear icon, and this gear icon allows me to attach a variable name to this data point. I've now called it end flow. Once again, this time I see reset. We're going to have to fix that. So I don't want it to end after 0 seconds. But now that I have this end flow variable set, if I go back, we see that the variable shows up under this section here. And this section of variables means that it is now on the Meticulous's UI. So when you hit the context button and go to edit profile on the machine, you will see the end flow variable. And so you'll be able to adjust the end flow rate and by consequence the shot time just by adjusting it on the machine. We can do it with any variable actually. So we could come here, for example, and we could say, if I wanted the weight to also be something that I can adjust. So this weight that I move on to the main extraction phase after pre-infusion, I can hit the gear icon and I can say PI pre-infusion weight. And now I have saved that variable, and that's indicated by the V beside the variable. And now I have the PI weight. And so this shows me that on the machine now, I can adjust the end flow rate and the pre-infusion weight without having to open the app. So I'll come down here, hit save, and in real time, I need a great name for this, demo profile. By doing this, it's now saved and on my machine, and I can brew with it. Hi everyone, I'm gonna walk you through how to connect to the Meticulous on Wi-Fi. First thing I'm gonna do is make sure that I'm connected to the Wi-Fi network. And so here we are. I'm going to click on the gear icon, set up machine. It is pulling up any past machines that it recognizes, and it's using the Bluetooth to show you the machine that's nearby. I'm going to click on it, head over to provision, and then enter the password, and that should connect me. And after entering my password and being close to the machine, I see that I'm connected. And here we are. And so now if I swipe on profiles, that will swipe on the machine and I'm good. So in the future, just make sure that you're connected via Wi-Fi on the machine and you will now see that you are connected. If for whatever reason this does not work for you, because there are many different Wi-Fi standards and Bluetooth and so on and so forth, the most reliable is to go to the machine, tap on the context menu, rotate down to Wi-Fi, and then you can go to connect to a new network on the machine and manually enter in the information that you need.